I'm Jennifer Brilliant. Welcome to Dynamic Balance, Head, Neck, and Spinal Alignment for Yoga and Life. This workshop will be exploring the skills of the Alexander Technique, which help a wide range of movement challenges. I started to study the Alexander Technique in the 1980s, and it was my Alexander teacher who actually took me to my first yoga class. F. Matthias Alexander was this guy who lived way back in the 30s and 40s, and he was an actor. And he was finding that when he was acting, that his voice would get hoarse, and he would, by the end of the performance, lose his voice. He went to see a doctor, and the doctor told him that he should take a break, and so he did. And when he got back his voice, he went back to acting, and the same thing happened again. And the doctor said, well, I really don't know what's causing it. But he was a smarty, and he knew that it was something he was doing when he was speaking. So he studied himself. He took a three-way mirror and watched himself, and he found that when he was speaking, he would go like this. So the back of his head would drop back and down. And that, oddly enough, looks really familiar to us because we see a lot of people with what we call a forward head. The forward head is the same thing that he found, that he was dropping it back and down. You can see that, right? So what he did was he worked on discovering a way to inhibit himself from doing what he naturally would do, would be take a breath and prepare by dropping his head like that. And it was a long process of observation. And instead of dropping his head back and down, he inhibited that action. And he gave a new direction after inhibiting to move his head in a forward, so a rotating forward and upward direction, so that the spine is not compressed. So you can actually put your fingers around your ears right now and imagine that the hands are going to rotate forward, and it's going to help you to rotate your own head a little bit forward, but then from the skull up off the spine, so you feel your spine lift up. Beautiful. And then release your hands down. Great. So here's an exercise that we can do in partners. We're going to stand behind a partner with our warm palms. We're going to place the hands on the shoulders so you can feel that you're inhibiting tension from your shoulders. You say to yourself, I'm not going to tense my shoulders, and that's an inhibitory process. And then you'll place your hand on the very crown of your partner's head, so they can feel that movement of rotating forward and up. So let's try that in partners. So one person stays on the mat, the other person goes behind. You can rub your palms to keep them warm. So you're going to rub your palms warm. Place your hands on your partner. Partner says to themselves, I'm not going to tense my shoulders. Person who's putting their hands on the partner says to themselves, I'm not going to tense my shoulders. And then you can come to the side and place your hand on the very crown of the head, so that the person who's sitting has that sense of slight rotation at the ears like we talked about, and then upward. And then you can feel your whole spine follow and lengthen. Good. And then we'll switch partners. The first thing is to make sure your hands are nice and warm. Nobody wants to be touched by ice cold fingers, so you can warm them up a little bit. Place your palms on the shoulders. You might want to bend your knees a little bit more so you can get lower with ease. And then you're going to, the person who's having their shoulders touched, say to themselves, I'm not going to tense my shoulders. So you're inhibiting tension. And then you're going to give the person who's touching is also releasing their shoulders. I'm not going to tense my shoulders. And then we can move to the side and place the very crown of the hand just lightly, just to feel the warmth of your palm, so that the person who's sitting can feel the head rotate forward and up, freedom in the neck, length and width in the spine, ease of breath. Beautiful. We'll take the arms out to the side and then up, and go a little forward with your arms. Up. Bring your hands right down into the center. Take your right hand across to your left knee. Left hand behind you, easily on the floor. Remember the person's hands on your shoulders. I'm not going to tense my shoulders. Take your back arm, give yourself a hug. In fact, feel for yourself, I'm not going to tense my shoulders. Spine is long and wide. And then we're going to slip, hold on to the elbows, draw the arms up, open the arms out to the side, and we'll do a side bend. Right arm down and move across. Buoyant ribs. The head rotates forward and up. Not going to tense my shoulders. And then we'll come back to the center and we'll do an easy neck stretch. The left hand moves across to the right ear. And then give yourself a little stretch. From here, the hand goes down, and we can roll to the front and come on back up to sitting. Let's switch the crossing of the legs. So whichever one of your shins is for, you can switch it. Lift the arms up. Buoyant breath. Hands right down through the center. Take your left hand, move it across to your right knee. Right hand behind you. I'm not going to tense my shoulders. So nice. Give yourself a hug, and with your own palms, feel your shoulders. Not going to tense my shoulders. Then from here, we're going to hold the elbows. Lengthen the arms up overhead. Open them out to the side. Left hand down, right arm up, side bend. Good, careful here that we don't drop the head back, that it's still rotated forward and up. And then we're going to come back up to the center for an easy neck stretch. Right hand on the left ear, easy neck stretch. Release your hand to your thigh. Beautiful, little round to the front. And then come on up to sitting. Remember your partner with the hands on you, inhibiting tension from your shoulders and directing your head forward and up. Good, let's come on up to standing. One of the ways he used language when he was teaching was to say, instead of saying sit down, he would say don't sit down. So he wanted his students to sit, but for a long time, they're not to sit, because it inhibits the natural process to sit and let the head drop like that. Okay? So I'm going to tell you not to do a half sun salutation. So you're going to inhibit yourself, you're going to stop yourself from doing the half sun salutation, so that you can take this pause to be aware of your own body in space, rounded into the earth, and yet buoyant, with the back of the neck very free, the neck easy, and the spine long and wide. So even if I tell you to lift your arms, don't do it. Good. Breathing in and out. Let's do coming into triangle pose, facing over to the sun wall. Let's move the blankets off the mat. With wide legs, and slightly bent knees. I guess this looks like that horse posture in martial arts, right? So you feel pretty grounded, nice and parallel. The spine is lengthened. Good. Let's turn the right toes towards the right. Put one hand at the top of your head like your partner had it. Straighten both legs. Slide your right hand down your leg while you're projecting up into your own hand. So the head is long, the spine is long and lifted. Rotating from the ears. And then extend your arm up into the sky. Looking up to your hand. Exhale, pressing your feet down, and inhale back up. Open the arms, turn the toes to face forward. We're back to horse stance. Doodle-um, 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 dum-dum, doodle-um. So nice and grounded. Arms release. Now we're going to turn the left toes towards the left. Bring the right hand onto the top of the head. In your mind's eye, do that rotation and length and inhibit the tension in your shoulders. Breathing as you go, straighten your legs, slide your hand down, triangle pose. So as low as you're going, you're still moving up into your own hand. Reach your right arm up, see your own hand, right hand, breathing in. Press your feet down so you feel that grounding of the floor again, and inhale all the way back up. Open your arms, turn the toes to face forward. Don't bend your knees. And then bend your knees, lower your arms, and let's step the feet together. Good. Let's finish this class by taking a blanket, using it for a head support, and lying down on your back. I'm going to make it lower. But even as you're lying there, say to yourself, I'm not going to tense my shoulders. I'm not going to tense my jaw. And find a position for your legs and your arms that feels comfortable. Make any adjustment that you need to make for your own comfort. I'm not going to tense my legs. I'm not going to tense my arms. This inner dialogue leads your mind to a feeling of quiet as well. Close the eyes. Let the weight of your body settle. Like the sun setting. And then let's place the hands on the torso, soles of the feet onto the floor. Roll to your right side and make your way up to sit cross-legged. You're sitting so beautifully. So this work is good for driving the car. This work is good for sitting at your desk. This understanding is good for walking down the street. So thank you so much for coming, and have a wonderful evening. I thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day. قساكر بنت يزيقوا